ജോസഫ് ജൂഡ് നോബിൾ ഒരു വർഷം നീണ്ട കഠിനാധ്വാനത്തിലൂടെയും വഴിമാറാത്ത ആത്മവിശ്വാസത്തിലൂടെയും താൻ ആഗ്രഹിച്ച, താൻ അർഹിച്ച വിജയം ജോസഫ് നേടിയെടുത്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. 2 ലക്ഷത്തോളം വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ മാറ്റുരച്ച 2026 JEE അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് എക്സാമിൽ ഓൾ ഇന്ത്യ തലത്തിൽ 2980 റാങ്ക് കരസ്ഥമാക്കാൻ ജോസഫിന് സാധിച്ചു. ഒരു വർഷക്കാലം ബ്രില്യൻറ്റിൻ്റെ JEE അഡ്വാൻസ്ഡ് റിപ്പീറ്റേഴ്സ് പ്രോഗ്രാമിലൂടെ എൻട്രൻസ് പരിശീലനം നേടിയാണ് ജോസഫ് ഈ മികച്ച വിജയം കൈവരിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. കോട്ടയം കഞ്ഞിക്കുഴി സ്വദേശിയായ ജോസഫ് സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ എഞ്ചിനീയറായ നോബിൾ ജൂഡ് ജോസിൻ്റെയും ഹോം മേക്കറായ മരിയ നോബിളിൻ്റെയും മകനാണ്. ജോസഫ് ജൂഡ് നോബിൾ തൻ്റെ വിജയയാത്രയും തയ്യാറെടുപ്പിൻ്റെ അനുഭവങ്ങളും പങ്കുവെക്കുന്നു.
ഹലോ എവരിവൺ, ഇന്ന് നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് JEE അഡ്വാൻസ് 2026 ഒരു ടോപ്പ് റാങ്ക് കരസ്ഥമാക്കിയ നമ്മുടെ ബുള്ളറ്റിൻ്റെ സ്വന്തം ജോസഫ് ജൂഡ് നോബിളിൻ്റെ കൂടെയാണ്. യെസ്, അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ജോസഫിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് തന്നെ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് ചോദിക്കാം, എങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു ഇത്രയും നല്ലൊരു ടോപ്പ് റാങ്ക് കരസ്ഥമാക്കാൻ സാധിച്ചത് എന്നൊക്കെ ഉള്ളത് നമുക്ക് ജോസഫിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് തന്നെ നേരിട്ട് തന്നെ ചോദിക്കാം. ഫസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ഓൾ, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. How are you feeling after the results of 2026?
Feel great.
Yeah,
I feel very good.
Did you really expect this much score?
Honestly, no,
Okay.
but it came, so now I'm happy.
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 Okay. Who was the first person that you have shared your first results with?
First person I shared with is obviously my father.
Father. And what was his reaction?
Yeah, he was very content and happy, right?
And what about the other family members, like mother? You have
I told them they all don't know much about entrance, so but they were still happy.
Okay.
And they've always been very supportive.
Okay. For the audience, can you just introduce yourself about your
Okay.
family members and what you do like that?
Okay. Hi, I'm Joseph. Joseph Jude Noble is my full name. I have obviously 2 parents, 2 sisters, and I live with my grandma. I studied in the US until 8th grade, and I came here in the 8th grade and studied at a school called Polycudum until 12th grade. And I didn't do any coaching in my 11th and 12th, and I took a drop year and decided to repeat in Brilliant. And after repeating in Brilliant, I just so happened to get some pretty good results.
Yes. In which batch you were at BrilliantStudyCentre?
I was in the batch which we call I-10. My class teacher was Arun George.
Yes, Arun sir. Yes.
Arun sir. He's
Okay.
very great teacher, and I have wish nothing but the best for him.
Okay. Then when did you actually seriously start to prepare for JEE, or you thought about JEE? When was that happened?
The first time I started seriously preparing was probably June of last year. Up until then, I was just kind of just going, you know.
Okay.
I studied for boards, and I have pretty good score in boards, but for JEE, I only properly started studying when I went to the boarding, which was, I believe, June 8th.
Okay.
June 8th, 2025.
Do you have any main motivator or inspiration?
Inspiration. Last year, I didn't get any colleges. So I thought, oh man, I messed up.
That was your motivation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, I messed up. So I thought, okay, I have like 2 options: go to some local college, or take a bet on myself and repeat. And so I thought, maybe it'd be better to repeat. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna repeat.
Oh.
That was my main. And after that, just kind of, I saw everybody else studying. Like in the boarding, everybody's studying. So seeing everybody else studying really motivates you. So that's where I found my motivation.
Okay, very good. Do you have any separate strategies for prepare while you are preparing for JEE Mains or JEE Advanced?
What I personally did, I was very behind when I first came. Like I actually knew nothing. So I had to build my concepts up from the very ground. So what I did is I mainly focused on doing theory, which I believe most people mainly do questions.
Yeah.
But my main approach was doing theory.
Theory?
And I think because I did so much theory, if I saw a new question, I was able to, sort of dissect the question better than I would have if I was just doing question practice.
Oh.
So my trick is do theory.
Theory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was your daily study routine? Do you have any strict timetable that you followed, or?
I didn't really follow any study routine like that. I
Okay.
just kind of woke up, and in the morning, like first thing in the morning, I'd think to myself, oh, what do I need to do today? I'd set like some goals. And sometimes I wouldn't even be able to finish those goals. But I'd always, set a target for the day. And as, like time progressed, I'd see, okay, is it feasible that I can finish this? Like, can I finish this? and throughout the day I sort of changed my plan to how I was feeling at the time. So I never really followed any strict schedule. I just kind of felt it
Yeah.
out and it was
Just
kind of
relaxing and going with the flow.
just
yes?
going with the flow.
Yeah,
yes.
that's good. Which subject did you enjoy the most while you were preparing for?
I love chemistry.
Chemistry?
Chemistry.
Do you have a strong point in chemistry?
I'm very strong in chemistry. I think my math is also pretty good. I'm very bad at physics. That's my one thing.
Physics.
I'm very bad at physics.
Then how you managed to improve that physics? Then did you follow any special tricks for?
No, I just did notes mostly. I was able to score some in physics, but I think I've always been, sort of weaker at physics.
Physics.
Yes, so I just kind of let it go.
Okay. Do you follow the strict any sort of preparation strategy in maths?
In math, mainly what I was doing for J mains, obviously, I think all 3 subjects I just did PYQs. But
PYQs,
for
yeah.
J advanced, you need some extra than just PYQs. I followed a black book, and our teacher, we had one great teacher in math. His name's Rouser, and he does problems inside his notes. And those problems are really, really good. So I also followed that.
Okay.
So that's what I mainly did for math.
So yeah, tell me about the support that you have got from BrilliantStudyCentre.
Yes, so much support. I first I have to, say a big thank you to the Liberty wardens and, just the whole Liberty team in general. We had such amazing wardens, and honestly, maybe at first they were a little bit strict, but towards the end, they didn't really feel like wardens. They felt more like friends. So we have like Deepu sir, Arun sir, Jobin sir, Abhi sir, Anandan sir, and Ephraim sir. They're all very amazing. At first you feel a little bit scared, obviously, because hostile wardens, and they have that sort of intimidating nature to them. But as the whole year progressed, you don't think of them as wardens. You think of them more as friends. Then obviously on the other side, we also had teachers. I only, personally for the I-10 batch, we only had 3 teachers the whole year. One was Rao sir, then we had Kishore sir, who was physics, and lastly we had Lal sir, who was chemistry. And these 3 teachers, let me tell you, they are the best. You won't find any teachers like them, online, even if you look. They are so amazing. Like I said, last year I knew nothing, and so I had to build everything from the ground up this year. And I can confidently say everything I earned this year was thanks to them. They taught me everything I know. So honestly, I can't express enough my gratitude towards them. So I think obviously Brilliant
Yeah.
has had a great
Great.
impact.
What about the peer group?
Yes. At first it's a little bit intimidating because you see everybody studying.
Yeah.
You think, oh man, everybody's here to study. But as the year progresses, you start to think of them as obviously this is a competitive exam. So these people are also your competitors. But as the year progresses, you stop thinking of them as competitors, and you think of them, oh wow, they're great people. They become your best friends, especially your roommates.
Yeah.
Your roommates become genuinely your best friends.
So you had a really great time with them, right?
Yes, of course.
What was the main difference that you have felt while you are preparing for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced? Do you felt any difference for both these exams, right?
There definitely is. Actually, I'd say there's a pretty huge difference. Because when you come to the JEE Mains aspect of things, I'd say you can get JEE Mains just by studying a lot. The more you study in mains, the more sort of marks you'll get. But advanced is kind of a different approach. You kind of have to understand the subject you're learning, understand the things that you have to do. Even especially when it comes to physics. Physics is a subject of understanding.
Yeah.
In mains, physics you can do by heart formulas, just apply, you'll get answers somehow. But in advanced, it's not like that at all. You have to think practically, and it's very polarizing. So I think that's what scares a lot of people when it comes to J advanced. But the more you familiarize yourself with this kind of stuff and J advanced questions, the more you start to get better at it.
Yeah.
So I'd say just feel it out, do theory, obviously, and you'll be fine.
Yes. അപ്പോൾ ജോസഫ് നമ്മുടെ JEE അഡ്വാൻസിന് മാത്രമല്ല JEE മെയിൻസിനാണെങ്കിലും കീമിനാണെങ്കിലും ഈവൻ ബിറ്റ്സാറ്റിനാണെങ്കിലും he have scored a nice score. So tell me about the BITSAT exam or other exams, right? Yeah, that you have got good score for JEE mains and Keem, and now it's JEE advanced and BITSAT. I think you have scored a great score at almost for the whole exams, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Then tell me about BITSAT exam. How was the experience?
BITSAT, I think it's sufficient just to study for JEE Advanced. I believe now I have 320 marks
Yeah.
in BitSat, which I think is enough for most top branches. But for me personally, I didn't study exclusively for BitSat. What I'm more focused on was studying for Advanced.
JEE.
Because Advanced timing and BITS timing is very, very close to each other.
Yeah.
So after Advanced, I just did a few mocks. And then I went to write the exam. But I think mostly your advanced portions and your bits portions should be almost the same.
Oh.
So if you prepare well for advanced, you're likely to get bits.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's
got
what I
it.
mainly did.
Joseph, did you focus more on theories or model exams? Which way you prefer more?
Mainly I did theory because I have that viewpoint where if you study theory enough and to like a certain extent, if you see a new question, which JEE Advanced typically is completely new questions. So if you see that new question, if your theory is good enough and you know like the ins and out of the subject, then you can sort of attack that question. But I feel like people who do a lot of questions and sort of neglect the theory are lacking in the ability to do new questions. Because when they see that new question, maybe they don't know, you know, the sort of principle behind that question.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a firm believer in doing theory. But it also might be because I had sort of less amount of time to study.
Yeah.
That's why I did a lot of theory. So my advice is, depending on the amount of time you have, you must sort of adjust your sort of view. You know, that's what I did. So that's why I mainly focused on theory.
Yeah.
But maybe someone who has more time than I did, it might be better for them to do more questions.
How did you analyze your mistakes after each and every model exams?
Yeah, Brilliant has a very great model exam system where after we had weekly model exams.
Yeah.
So after each of these weekly model exams, they'd post three videos. So one physics, one chemistry, one math. And so how I personally did it, I'd just watch the video and the questions that I didn't get, I'd look and I'd write them down.
No.
And sort of redo the question. The questions that I did get, I wouldn't skip, and I'd still watch to see how the sir solved it. And I think seeing that different perspective, like maybe I solved it in a different way than the sir solved it. So seeing those two perspectives definitely, you know, sort of boosts your knowledge in that sort of area. So that's what I personally did.
Yeah. Good. Joseph, have you ever felt any language barrier or any such difficulties while you are preparing for JEE at BrilliantStudyCentre? Do you have any?
I think maybe a little bit, but one great thing about, you know, the batch I was in, since we only had 3 teachers, these 3 teachers would mainly teach in English. Like my Malayalam is very, very weak. I actually know nothing. But these teachers, I think for physics and math, it was exclusively in English. For chemistry, there was a little Malayalam here and there, but it's not so intensive that you can't understand. So I'd say, you know, even if you don't know a lick of Malayalam, you don't know anything, it's still, Brilliant is still a very great option, and language barrier should really never be an issue.
Joseph, how did you handle your or manage pressure during these preparation? Have you ever felt stressed or demotivated at times, and what did you do at that time to keep you up?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt a lot of stress, obviously. Like I think I said before, at the start, I was feeling like I was very far behind. So, you know, I was sort of on the edge whether I should continue or should I like drop out and try and do it by myself. But, you know, one thing I've always sort of stood by is consistency. So I always felt like if I give up now, it's like such a waste, right? So I just tried to stay as consistent as possible. So like even when I was feeling very stressed, I think another very stressful time was right before JEE Mains, because at that time everything's really uncertain. But you know, one thing I always did is just try to stay consistent and just did what I needed to do every day. So I think sort of focusing on the bigger picture instead of focusing on what's right ahead of you definitely helps alleviate lots of that sort of stress that you might feel when studying for these exams.
Yeah, good. What are your future plans? Like which IIT or NIT do you prefer, and which branch you are aiming for?
You know, I've always been a sort of go with the flow kind of guy, so I don't really have a preference when it comes to IIT, NIT like that. But the branch I prefer the most is computer science.
Yeah.
I think maybe EC if I get, but mainly computer science.
Yeah. Okay, Joseph, lastly, what advice would you give to the students, those who are preparing for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced for the 2027, right?
My biggest piece of advice is stay consistent. You know, consistency in these sort of high pressure competitive exams is the most important thing. And always bet on yourself, always have that sort of self-confidence that you can do anything. That's what I always did. I always thought, okay, I can always do this. Never think that, you're not enough, you don't know enough, and that, you're so far behind everybody. If you think like that, then that'll become true. So always think that, okay, I can do it. And if you think like that, I'm sure great results will come.
Okay. So Joseph, thank you so much for sharing your experience and amazing your journey with us.
Thank you.
And wishing you all the very best for your future and the
Thank you.
exciting journey ahead. Once again, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay.
Thank you.
Brilliant Study Center, India's #1 coaching center for NEET and JEE.